Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me in my office today. What I plan to do is create a number of videos for you. I'm going to try to keep them as short as I can, but going through different little increments about Forever Historian software. It's an amazing program that you can import your photos into them, enhance your photos, and organize them. Because of the organization and the ability to cross-reference, I've been able to find my photos pretty quickly if I'm looking for a specific image. Little side note, because I'm going to break this up into smaller videos, it's probably a good idea to hit that little bell. What that does is it tells YouTube that you want to be notified when I post a new video. That way you don't miss anything. And if you subscribe, that means that you're going to be able to find me that much easier next time. So from the time that I started taking digital photos, I've been using this program. In the beginning, it was called Memory Manager, and Creative Memories, the original company, owned it. Now it's Forever, and they call it Historian. If you're one of my older clients that was using Memory Manager, or you have found me and you're in that position yourself, probably you've had new computers since then. So if you have your vault somewhere in a external hard drive, on DVDs, a flash drive, something like that, you should be able to import that into the new program without any problems, and all of your organization should come in, which is absolutely amazing. But let me know if you run into that, if that's one of the issues that you're dealing with. What I love about this program is Historian has all the tools that I need to make my photos look their best. I probably run the enhancement on 95 to 99% of my photos. Generally speaking, whatever I put in Historian, most of the time will look better when it comes out of Historian. Sometimes things are fine just as they are, but I like to do that before I go to any project that I might do, or before I put that into my permanent storage account. I want them to look their best. It works very seamlessly, downloading and uploading your photos to your permanent Forever storage account. If you use Artisan for making photo books or photo gifts, it works seamlessly to take your photos from Historian, move them right into Artisan. And that's what I'm doing on a very, very regular basis. In this first video, I want to talk about how to import your photos into Historian. Chances are, if you're like most people, you've got photos all over your computer. That's something I've seen all the time. So if you're in that position, you're in good company, don't worry about it. We're going to bring everything into Historian. And then moving on, I will show you how to organize them once they're in there. So let's talk about how to get your photos in there. Grab your CDs, DVDs, external hard drives, flash drives, wherever they are, bring those in, and I'm going to walk you through the steps of bringing your photos in. And then in a future video, I will talk to you about how to organize them, and later we'll talk about some of the enhancements and the different tools that you have at your fingertips. So let's go to my computer and get started. In this video, my main focus is helping you import your photos initially into Historian. But I also want to spend a little time in the beginning acclimating you to the program so that you're able to navigate it, at least in the beginning. And we'll go deeper and deeper with future videos that I do. So this is my personal family cabinet. You can see right here, I've got 30,000 images in here. So it is a pretty big cabinet. I'm going to be working out of one that is a demo. There's a lot of personal stuff in here, not just about me, but about family members, friends, etc., that I don't feel like I should put this on a public forum. So I'll show you how to open a cabinet if you already have one. Let's say you've got multiple cabinets. So you would go up here and click on Open a Cabinet. And I keep things on my D drive. So I would go to my Historian cabinets, and we're going to switch to the demo cabinet, and then I'm going to choose Select Folder. So this is what yours will likely look like when you first open up the program. If the program did not prompt you when you were loading it to create a cabinet, all you would do is click on New Cabinet here at the top. You would name it whatever you want to name it here. It defaults on shared documents, which would be for everyone. this is the link of where you would find it in File Explorer. So it would automatically put it in the C drive users public, because remember this says everyone, documents, and then whatever you name it. In this instance, I haven't changed the name. It still says my cabinet. For me personally, my C drive is a little smaller than my D drive. So programs always need to be on the C drive, but you can have your cabinets, you can have your Artisan projects, all of that in a different drive. In my case, it's in the D drive. It could be on an external hard drive. It's just whatever works for you. So if I clicked on my documents just for me, then it changes to users, and the word crop with me did not all come out. I should have just said Karen, but that's what it would look like. That's where I would find it if I clicked on this button. For me personally, I would do the other folder because that way I can browse and change it to my D drive. So 2 more things to look at. You can enable facial recognition for your brand new cabinet. That's a personal choice. And you can also choose to include sample content in the new cabinet. If you're brand new to Historian, that might be a good idea initially, just because it gives you an idea, some samples of organization, but it's also something that you're eventually going to delete. So you choose what you want to do. When you're done, you click OK. I'm not going to do that because I already have my cabinet open. So you might notice that my cabinet is pale, and you can choose a dark mode. This is the default, but if you decide you want to use dark mode, you would click on options, and then right here says enable dark mode. I'm going to click OK, and then it's going to prompt me to say that I have to restart the program in order for that to take place. So I'll click OK, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. With magic of video, we're just going to jump right there. So I closed and I opened Historian, and this is what it would look like if you wanted to work out of dark mode. I'm on the fence whether that's what I want to do personally. I am using dark mode in Artisan, and I really, really like it. And I'm just so used to Historian having the light background that I will probably stick with that for a while. So it's a personal choice. It's supposed to be helpful for your eyes, so it may be a really good thing to do. So I went ahead into options. I clicked off of that button. I closed Historian and opened it again, and now I'm back in light mode. So we're going to stick with this for the duration of at least this video. Something to get in the habit of is down here at the left-hand side at the bottom. You want to check periodically for updates. Just click on the link and it will go through the process of checking. My software is up to date. As of yesterday, there was an update. So I did update it yesterday. I've got the latest, greatest version of this. If there was an update, there would be a link right here to the right of it. You would click on that, follow the prompts, and you would download the latest version. If you ever wonder where you placed your cabinet, it will show right here on the welcome page. Notice it says right here, there's a tab right here. We're in the welcome page. So when you first turn on the program, this is what you should see. So the next thing to do would be, now that I've loaded the cabinet, is to click on My Media Library. So now I'm in where my photos are. Another thing that's really good to make note of is click on View. I default on Media and Ascending. That's the view that I want in here. I want the oldest photographs to be before the newest photographs. So that's why it's in Ascending, and Media Date is the date of the image itself. This one, obviously in 1937, we did not have digital cameras. I scanned it and I put it in here and I dated it approximately what I thought it would be, roughly in May of 1937. If I did not change the date, it would be the date of when I imported it or scanned it. The same thing here, 1970s, you see there's a C, that's for circa or about 1970. This is Christmas. I know we always did everything on Christmas Day itself, so I don't have a problem saying it was December 25th. I know it was 1977. So that is my personal choice. You could also switch it to descending if you'd rather have the top one be your most recent photos. That's the way I like it, ascending. So you can also switch this to import date. As you start importing your photos into Historian, it will default on import date. You have to go into view and change it. Another way you can organize it is ratings, which is something that we will talk about later. And you can also have it by name. So if you want to have your, I keep wanting to call it a vault. In Memory Manager, we called it a vault. It's now a cabinet in Historian. In your cabinet, if you decide you want to do organization by name, then you need to make sure that you're really consistent in how you name things. I am not. This happens to be my cat, Dora. I said, alert Dora. I tagged her as Dora. So I can find everything under Dora. I can do a search for the word Dora, but by alphabetizing it by name, alert comes before Asheville. And I had a whole series of photographs of a trip we took to Asheville. They don't happen to be here right now, but I just pulled in a picture of my husband, and then here's Dora again. But because I said baby Dora, A, B comes next. So again, I personally like media date. You find what works for you. Another thing to be aware of is the timeline down here. I have it on media date. So these are now showing me where I have photographs in the year 2015, 16, 17, etc. I have 71 images in here. If I clicked on 2022, that brings it down to 9. If suddenly you wonder, where did all my photographs go? Look down here. You might have clicked on something here. 2021, I only have 4. So if I just grab this with my left finger on the mouse and go back, I don't have that many. Remember, I only have 71 photographs in here. So 1937, this is the earliest one. I just have one photograph. So if everything disappears, there's this little menu right here. It pops out just by hovering over it. So I'm clicking on this. If I hover, boom, it pops out. And media, if I click all, that'll bring in everything that I have under media. As opposed to import, I could say I only want import things that I've imported this week. There's lots of things that I can do. There's also this, that more, I can say, I just want a year. I want to know everything that's in 2022. So that's another way to find things. But I hover over that, media all, that brings everything back in. So you can see here, the number is back at 71. So these are all key things to know, because you don't want to freak out if suddenly something disappears. It's still there. You just may have clicked on a button somewhere. So another key thing to notice, all over the place, you're going to see these little arrows, like right here. If I click on that, that pushes everything to the left side. If I'm trying to focus on my pictures here, maybe I'm trying to edit something, I want it to be as big as possible, then I might hide things for a little while. Generally speaking, I have everything open because I like to use all of these things. On the right side, when I click on a photograph, this is going to bring up the item properties. I've 5-starred it. It has the date of the photograph. It has the name that I gave it, and a whole lot more information that we can look at later. Work area would be if you wanted to take pictures and just put them over there and have a bunch of stuff from varying places that you want to do something with. Like maybe you want to share them all to Artisan. Maybe you're working in Artisan. Maybe you want to share them to a folder on your hard drive because you want to email it to somebody, or you want to get it printed somewhere. There's any number of things that you might want to share from. But I'm going to go ahead and clear that. Generally speaking, the work area, it's a temporary work area. So if you were to be putting photographs in there and then you left, turned off the program, left, and came back, turned it back on, they won't be there anymore. So this is just a kind of a docking area before you do something with all of them. Generally speaking, I stay in item properties because this is where I'm doing things. I can write down my stories, I can rate it, I can change the date, I can change the name of whatever the image is. But like the other things, it has a little arrow, you can make it disappear. So again, something disappears on you, don't freak out. There's just something that you clicked on. You just click on it again, it brings it back. So let's go back to the Home tab up here at the top left. Right here are a number of ways to import media into your program. If you store anything in Forever and you've never put it in Historian, but maybe you want to bring it into Historian because you want to do some editing. Your Forever storage account right now does have some editing tools, but Historian has far more options. You do you. What works better for you? You can edit them right there in your account, or you can bring them into Historian, edit them here, and then upload them again. It's up to you. But when you first loaded the program, it had you register it. So now it should be connected to your email address and your password. You should not have to log in again. I click on the icon Forever, and that takes me right into my account. Now I'm going to click on Albums because I already have things organized. And I'm going to go down to this Heritage book. And I have a number of things, that newspaper articles and different things that I've scanned. And I've got a handful of photographs. I'm going to click on a few just for fun, and then import. So you can watch the progress. You can see what's happening. Now, this is a good thing to exclude all duplicates from import. So if you're not sure if you've imported or something already, you definitely want to click on that. If you're using facial recognition, you can have it do it at that moment. I generally don't. I just want to bring my photos in. If I use facial recognition, I can go back in and I can manually go through that. So I'm going to click OK. And it has a bunch of tags already. I'm going to go ahead and click off, deselect all, because I want to show you how to tag things. So now, remember I told you when you import, it's going to default on just the import items for today. So you notice it's 6 items. It says August. If I go back to view at the top left, so you notice that it's the import date and it's ascending. Of course, these are dated different dates, but they were all imported today. And I believe the reason this is first is because that was probably brought in before this one. In fact, when I look at how it was organized in Forever, I can see that this one definitely did. So what I tend to do once I'm done importing a bunch of stuff, I'll click on media date. I wanted it ascending. You notice now this is the top. So I'm still just at those 6. So I need to go down here, hover over this, it pops out. I want media and all. And that brings everything back in here. So now it's 77 items. I brought in 6 new photographs. So that's one way to bring your photographs. I'm going to go back to the home ribbon. You can hook up your camera and you can bring pictures in there from your camera. Every camera is different. That's not something that I can show you right now. You can use a scanner. I tend to use my scanner on its own and then I import things separately. So it depends on your scanner and how well it works with Historian. So give it a try both ways and see what you like. Once I have something on my hard drive and I know where it is, I can click on Files and it'll come in here to my File Explorer. And I can just navigate right to wherever the pictures are. If I've been scanning things, I might have it under downloads, or a lot of times it'll just make something under pictures. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that. So file is when you know precisely where something is. You can also use it for navigating around trying to find things if you're not sure where it is. I plugged in a flash drive. So I'm going to go to Files and then scroll down. Remember, I have a C drive and a D drive, but my external hard drive port, my flash drive went into the same port. They all would show up as E. And I have a number of things that I've had scanned at other places, and it was done in pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and click on those 3. What I did is I clicked on one, I held down the Control key, clicked on the next one and the next one. That's how you choose one thing at a time, skip a bunch of stuff, and click on another one, holding the control key. Click on a couple more things with the control key, and then open. So I'm going to go ahead and click off the keywords because I want to go through and tag these later myself. So, okay. And again, now I've got 13 items. These are all the things that I've imported today. So I want to keep looking at what I have compared to what I'm bringing in. I would go to View, Media Library, and that organize them based on the date attached to the photograph. I'd hover here, bring up media, all. Now it's showing me absolutely everything. So now I'm up to 84 total. I'm going to go back to the home ribbon. I'm going to go back to files. A second way to bring things in, if you know you want everything from the top to the bottom, click on the first thing and hold the Shift key and click on the last thing. And now I have everything chosen from start to finish. So if you know you have everything in a specific folder that you want to bring in, then I would just click on the top one, scroll down to the bottom one, hold the Shift key and click on the last one, and that'll highlight everything. And what I didn't do on the last import, I didn't click import options. As you're doing this initially, is probably a really good idea, and turn off exclude all duplicates from this import and click OK. I'm not going to bring all these in. This is just a demo. So I'm going to click cancel, but you would hit open when you're ready. So once you've gotten things off your external hard drive, your flash drives, your DVDs, your CDs, your Forever account, you brought them in here, then you probably want to do a search of the entire computer, because a lot of us have photos here, there, and everywhere. Some people more than others, but you're probably going to find things you didn't know were there. One of the things that I wanted to mention in the beginning and I didn't is it's probably really good to just go through and bring all the photos in first, focus on that, finish that project, then go back in and start taking things in batches and organizing them and enhancing them. Some people, it's easier to do a little bit at a time and move on to something else because you get bored. That happens to me sometimes. But what I have found is if you don't finish the job, people end up with doubles and triples of the same thing, and then you have to filter through all that. So just a personal recommendation. Let's say that I want the program to search my entire computer. I would click on this icon, Search Computer. So it defaults on the C drive. Remember, most of my stuff is on the D drive, but I'm going to do the C drive for the purposes of this video. And you can say exclude system folders. That's probably a good idea because a lot of times there's little photo icons that come in with various programs. If you leave this as is, it's going to exclude any files that are smaller than 500 KB. You can just click on 0 or 50. If you were getting photos that small, they'd be pretty small. So it's probably a good idea to leave it at the default. If you're looking for something specific, like in my case, I want to go to the D drive, I would browse and I would come down here and I would click on the D drive and then select folder. I'm going to let it do its thing on the C drive. So I'm ready. I'm going to click Start Search. And you'll see that it just starts building and building and building. So for me, this took about 3 minutes, which isn't too long, but it's a lot of time to ask you to watch as my computer's doing its thing. So now this is the screen that would come up. You notice this says there's a little triangle here and it indicates a possible duplicate item. So that will be something to pay attention to. But you see there's all these things about programs and stuff right here. This looks like maybe there's a photograph, but it's one of theirs. It's part of a program. So I'm going to go down a little bit. Here's another one. These are things that came in with the program. Here's some samples of things. So you'll probably walk through. I see it and I say it. Anyway, you'll probably have to go through a few different things like this just to be making yourself feel comfortable that you've hit everything. So just systematically go down the list. So this might be a photograph that we took. Let's see, filters, textures. Yeah, I think that's something that came in with Artisan. Surfaces that came in with Artisan for sure. Surfaces again, model. These are not my photographs. These are things that came in through programs, even though this does look a bit like my cat. So I'm just going to keep going down. I don't expect anything there or there or there. And there's a scrolling, whoops, went too far right there. Products, that tells me it's not going to be anything. And move that over, and I'm just going to keep going down. So it's helpful to go through all at once and just check things. So these I know, I recognize are mine. These are some pictures I took of my nails as I was doing them. So this is a temporary file. Let's see. So I can go through and see if there's anything that I missed. I'm going to skip ahead. Artisan kits, I know that's not something I'm going to be bringing in. So now I'm getting under images. So I can click on this and I can start recognizing some things that I might want to bring in. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm using the control key. I'm just going to bring in these 3 photos for now. I can click on import options and again, exclude all duplicates. Okay. And when I'm ready, I would say get selected media items. And it's going to bring those in. I'm going to turn off these keywords and okay. And again, we default on import and the day of. So this is the date that I imported these things. Now I want to go back to search computer. It's going to bring this up to exactly where I left off, which is really, really helpful. So you see now these are what I just imported. So I have the little 2 saying it's a duplicate. But I can just systematically go through my computer, my hard drive, and bring in photographs little at a time. If I were to turn off Historian and turn it on again, and then click search computer, it's going to start the process all over again. So it's a good idea if you don't finish today to sit down and write out where you left off. That way you can go back and systematically go through from top to bottom. When you feel confident that you've got everything in the computer, then go to my next video and we will talk about how to organize them. In the meantime, if you want to see what's in your cabinet to date, click on view, media date, ascending. That way it's top to bottom from the oldest to the newest. And then go down here, hover over that. It'll pop out. Click media and all. And that'll show you, I clicked on 1944. That was my mistake. So now it shows that I have 87 items in here. Not everything is going to have names because I noticed, yeah, like this. This is whatever they named it when I was scanning it. So we'll talk about naming your photographs, dating them, writing stories if you need to, and in future videos, I'll talk to you about some of the editing tools that we have in this program. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you taking the time.